One of the things that's new to this era actually is the rise of rights for trans men and women.
Mm.
And one of the things that's not being talked about, because of course, God, we have murder hornets and a pandemic and global warming and George Floyd and Elijah McClain. And also now we have Black women who are, Black trans women who are being murdered. Rhea Milton was 25, and Dominique Remy Fells was 27, and they were all murdered in separate incidents in the past week. And it brings to a total of, I believe, 14 women this year. And last year, I believe, hope I'm getting these numbers right, but yeah, last year it was like a crazy number of Black trans women who have been murdered, and the police don't really care.
They never have.
Well, they've done such a great job with the Indigenous women.
Yeah.
I don't mean to laugh. That's terrible to laugh, but it's true.
But it's true. I mean, like, it's the sad part is like it's just another add-on. It's another atrocious pocket of society that is going underrepresented, underviewed, and
they care about the deaths of any Black people? Do they care about the deaths of any Indigenous people? No. It just seems like, you know, it's. I guess it's like there's this view that some people are expendable and some people have value, and so often that proposition is drawn along racial lines.
Well, they also cross racial lines. The homophobia in the Black community is pretty extreme in most communities around the world. I know when I was coming up, in Black circles, if you were trans, man, you were that dude. Mm-hmm. It's like a friend actually told me years ago, and I have no idea if this is true or not, but he was saying about a decade or so ago, organizers in Jamaica were planning a gay Pride Day march in Kingston. And according to him, there was a run on bullets the week before. You couldn't find a bullet in the town. So, you know, they obviously canceled. Don't know if that's true or not, but I know coming up, man, fuck.
Oh, as someone of Jamaican heritage, I think I'm the person who can say Jamaica is a horrible place for homophobia. Yeah. There's the only place more homophobic in the world than Jamaica is that. No, sorry. The only place more homophobic than in the world than Jamaica is Afghanistan, and that's kind of it.
I was going to guess Bobby's bedroom.
Hey ho!
Hey.
Now, I remember when I was a teenager. I was 15, and I did a sort of traveling show for kids. Went to camps, and you know, I was one of the leads in this play. And a friend of mine who was a Jamaican guy was in this play. And somehow the topic of what they do to gay people in Jamaica came up. And I'll never forget what he said. And he was like, "Oh, we throw them in the bog," is what he said. And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Oh, you throw them in the bog. It's like they just kill them and throw them in the river." And he didn't say it even in a mean way. It was like matter of fact. And I was like,
yeah. And I think when you're bringing up trans Black folk on any side, there's so many ways you can explain why there is that behavior in Black culture in the same way you can explain it in any culture. But there has to come a point where it's like, however you may rationalize why this is happening, right? Well, it's happening because of this reason, centuries of oppression. And yeah, I get that. As long as after you make that point, you say, we got to stop this shit, right? I get where it comes from. Stop doing this shit. Because I really want to know how many folks of color, trans folks of color were killed by folks of color. That's not going to be a popular one, but fuck the world.
All right.
Right?
Lewis, what are you doing? You're trying to get canceled by Black people? What are you doing?
That's my job. I'm
Come on,
putting on
give
my Tucker
Todd his-
Carlson face.
Yeah. No, but it's been going on. You guys have seen the film Oh, the documentary on Paris is Burning.
Yeah,
Mm.
I saw it a while ago, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was the early 90s it came out. And even like in that film, they were going on about friends of theirs who were trans or in drag who had been killed, right, or murdered. So
I have a friend of mine who I reconnected with just shortly before the pandemic, and he is he's originally from Trinidad. And I said I hadn't seen him in quite a few years, and so we're just like having a beer after work, and it's like, "Hey, what's up?" And he says, "Well, I have 2 daughters." And I went, "Didn't you have a boy and a girl?" And he went, "Yup." And I went, and he looked shaken as he was telling me, right? And I get that that's ingrained in his culture, and now he's a torn man. And the first thing I said was congratulations, because as I know the world is shit right now, and it's going to be shit for a while, but every day that we go forward is a better day to be LGBTQ.
Yeah.
It's a better day to be trans, because there's more acceptance of that. Yes, there's pockets of
Way
it, yes.
more.
And there's but it's so much better now than it ever has been, and it's going to continue to get better, because as much as you have idiots in power that may try and stop the progress, people will not change in this, and the younger people are going to come forward and do this. And for him, I said, like, dude, this is so great, because not only is there going to be support there, but you've also, if because of this realization so early on, there's less risk of them being so fucked up about this that they don't know what to do and take their own lives. So at least that is a possibility that is at least tempered slightly, and the probability is dropped. I'm not saying it isn't gone, and I'm not saying there isn't a lot of work to do, but my God, that's so great. And he loves his kid, and it's wonderful to see. And so, the more support that you can give people in these communities, that this is fucking new to me, this isn't supposed to happen, we used to just throw them in the bog, what now? And the more that we can counter that, the better, obviously.
Can I, and this goes back, like, this notion of a line, right? Like, where do you draw the line? I would not be aware of my own ingrained homophobia without being challenged to my face with a great deal of heat and anger. I am at the point now where I can see someone gay or trans, try to ignore the hit, the ingrained hit that I had, right? And then move on. Now I'm at a point where I can go, oh, whoa, look at this, look at this, look at what you're feeling, right? And this became really clear to me when I was working with an at-risk youth, right? They paired me with him because, he was gay, he was trying to work through his shit. And we became relatively close. We could talk. And then the next time I saw him, he had breasts, right? And my reaction was, whoa, okay, I'm going to deal with this. This was earlier, like 15 years ago or something, 15, 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And then he came and he grabbed me and he hugged me. And part of what he was doing was exploring the difference for him, the newness for him, right? And in his grasp of me. And I just fucking froze. I was like, I don't know how to handle this. I have no idea how to. So I didn't push him away or anything, but he could feel my tension, right? And through that being confronted, I at least know what I have to work on.
It's funny you say that, because it does have to do with generations, because you and I, Lois, are from the same generation. So we're dealing with stuff. Whereas my daughter's generation, just to give you a quick sort of like snapshot of what my daughter's generation is dealing with. So my daughter's best friend is lesbian, and they've got a gender fluid friend as well. And my daughter's lesbian friend had a girlfriend from another school who was the head of the cheerleading team. And so the lesbian friend of my daughter broke up with her, but then was still invited to the birthday. So my daughter's lesbian friend and her gender fluid friend went to this party of the head of the cheerleading squad of another school, where the head of the football team was there, and the head of, and the other cheerleaders were there, and none of them made any homophobic slurs. Like in the 80s,
Oh yeah.
War zone.
what happened? First off, there's no way these girls are even telling anybody they're lesbian in the 80s. Are you kidding? And
Well, I
second,
mean, my kid's gay, and and I'm listening to the conversations amongst their friends,
Mhm.
right? Where they're trying to figure out where non-binary and anti-male and anti-male sentiments, right, coexist. How can you be non-binary?
Yep.
Right? And that's really having serious and intelligent conversations on, how do I adjust my feelings around straight men if I'm projecting a non-binary identity?